negotiations with the Chinese government, 9 rounds already?
Yes.
Failed, totally failed. Why?
Why? They always say there is no Tibetan problem.
No Tibetan problem.
And from our side, nothing asked Chinese government about Dalai Lama's position or about Dalai Lama's future. So, but meantime, among the leaders,
Yes.
you see, there are some indication. They sort of feel there is a problem about Tibet.
Of course, they know it's a problem.
Everybody knows now.
But they don't accept it, you see.
As I mentioned earlier, hypocrisy.
Yes.
So they always say there's nothing, no problem.
You know, that's why some young Tibetans say they must use some violent methods to make China accept that there is a Tibetan problem. You don't agree with that?
No, that's totally wrong. Xinjiang, brothers, sisters.
Yes, Xinjiang.
Many occasions,
Yes.
some violence involved. The result, more suffering. Even some Chinese officials,
Yes.
they admit Tibetan, generally Buddhist, so they have less worry about violence. That's good.
But you must have heard some.
And then also, I always was telling young Tibetan,
Yes.
who are a little bit militant sort of thinking,
Right.
I telling them, because we strictly carry non-violent principle. So large number of Chinese among the intellectuals
Yes.
or educated students and many writers, artists, many of them showing us
Yes.
solidarity, sympathy, concern. Since 2008 crisis,
Yes.
now over 2 years, we notice more than 1,000 articles in Chinese language
Yes.
wrote by Chinese, all fully support about our sort of
Because of your
struggle.
non-violent way.
Yes.
Ahimsa.
Firstly, non-violence. Secondly, not seeking separation. So many Chinese intellectuals fully support that.
So what do you tell the young Tibetans?
So my argument, if we touch violence, this kind of support will not come. After all, Tibetan problem have to solve between Chinese and Tibetan. So support from Chinese, not government level, from Chinese public side,
Yes.
Chinese intellectuals,
Right.
their support is highly necessary.
Yes.
So I feel our middle way approach, one way, yes, fail
Yeah.
to bring some sort of concrete sort of positive result
Yes.
with government.
Yes.
But other hand, this sort of struggle, non-violent way, middle way approach,
Yes.
really brought a lot of support from Chinese public side.
People to people support.
So I always, in my statement, I mentioned, world belongs to people.
Yes. Yes.
And China also belongs to Chinese people. Ultimately, people are more important than the party politics,
Yes.
than politics, no matter how strong. But ultimately, up to people.
Yeah. You think uprising like the 2008 thing in Tibet can happen again?
I don't think.
Why not?
Why not? I always telling Tibetan, just before our meeting, I met some Tibetan. I told them, now we should sort of concentrate for education, for training,
Yes.
and not sort of political slogan, these things. I feel, of course, 2008 is a crisis already happened.
Yes.
Whether right or wrong, it already happened. It brought a lot of publicity.
Yes.
I think among the Chinese people, large number of Chinese, you see, before that, no sort of concern about Tibet.
No.
After 2008 crisis, I think one factor, Chinese government uses much of the propaganda, Tibetan, a handful Tibetan,
Yes.
by Dalai Lama, sort of created these sort of violence, these things.
Yes.
So a lot of publicity.
Yes.
So many Chinese later, you see, told me,
Yes.
till that they have no sort of idea or no interest about Tibet. Now, after that, they begin to concern or interest. So they carry some research work. Then they found you are right. The government propaganda is wrong. Many Chinese told me like that. So it happened one way, more sort of publicity, but at the same time, many people killed, many people missing, and also you see some. I think that crisis also seems to see some hardliners. They now really. About, I think, 10, 15 years ago, is one party secretary in autonomous Tibet actually you see, mentioned the ultimate source of danger of separation Tibet from mainland China is Tibetan Buddhism.
Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism.
So accordingly, since then, he is stepping up political education in various monasteries and nunnery, and also some restriction. About sort of what's it, Buddhist study, although they officially you see, try to create another sort of new Buddhist sort of institution, but everything you see they control, mainly you see political education like that. So and then ordinary example, for example, like Lhasa University. Before that. In their sort of curriculum, some text, the traditional Tibetan text, they say very, very interesting, very wonderful. Since his sort of the his term, since he became the party secretary, he reduced all these sort of text or change these texts. Only text which translation from Chinese text.
So this is to wipe out Tibetan
culture.
Yes.
So so that's actually one of the immediate causes of 2008 crisis. At around that period, some Tibetan expressed, now in Tibet, semi-culture revolution reviving. Semi-culture revolution. So some Tibetans expressed that way. So in any way, now seems to see last 1 year, the Chinese government now stepping up some restriction about Tibetan language study, like that. Or use Tibetan language for different subject. Tibetan study only just a language. So they are really stepping up. So this also is some negative impact since this crisis. So now they really see they putting some kind of sort of policy to reduce or to eventually to eliminate any Tibetan unique thing, including language. But I don't think they will success like that.
What is happening in the Middle East and Northern Africa, so-called Jasmine Revolution, you think that could inspire the Tibetans to uprise against the Chinese? Because more or less the same feelings of, uprising against authoritarian rule, against dictatorship.
That's difficult to say. I think as Chinese Prime Minister, just as you mentioned, I think I agree.
Wen Jiabao talk about political reform.
No. Wen Jiabao, you see, mentioned Chinese case. The recent few decades, economic development really brought some benefit to large number of Chinese ordinary people. Whereas in North Africa, you see these not like that. So that's also true. That's also true. But you see, the overall totalitarian system.
Yes.
And the worst thing I feel, as I mentioned my statement,
Yes.
1.3 billion Chinese people have right to know what's the reality.
Yes.
And then 1.3 billion Chinese people also have the ability to judge what is right, what is wrong. So, under that circumstances, censorship
Yes.
is immoral. That I think is the Chinese government should change. No need censorship. Should be transparent,
Yes.
open. And then also I mentioned in my statement, the China, most populated nation,
Yes.
and a powerful economy, and military as well. China can take constructive, important role on this planet.
Yeah.
In order to carry that, trust from rest of the world is very necessary. Now, because of Chinese no transparent, everything sort of stays secret, that brings more suspicion, more distrust. So that is sort of immense sort of hindrance Chinese sort of involvement for constructive work. This I really feel.
What is happening in the Middle East and Northern Africa, so-called Jasmine Revolution, is that an inspiration, you think, for the Tibetans?
Tibetans do not need this kind of aspiration. They are already resisting for the last 50 years non-violently. And the non-violent resistance is now in the blood of the Tibetan people. For example, in the year 2008, 80% of the demonstrators are below the age of 40.
Ah, really?
That means they were born and brought up after 1959. They have not seen the Dalai Lama. They have not seen the free Tibet. And in spite of that, they have the spirit. And they have come out non-violently to resist. So, but what we are hoping from this North Africa and the Middle East, it might inspire many mainland Chinese people.
Or the Chinese themselves?
Yes, Chinese themselves. And the mainland Chinese people, by and large, they're also not happy. They're also repressed people. So I think this kind of revolution may spread to inside China, mainland China as well.
And the Chinese authorities seem to be quite nervous about it.
Yes, not only nervous, they are very alert, and they have employed every possible means to control it.
Yes.
Tibetans worldwide today continue to fight for their rights and motherland, even though Tibet is governed under the People's Republic of China as an autonomous region. We can only hope that any resolution reached will be a peaceful one. See you next time. สวัสดีค่ะ